Yo, what is up guys, Duke DC here. Welcome to another video. We are over here at Alamo Cycleplex in San Antonio, Texas. As always, they will be linked in the description down below. And this video is brought to you by Rollick. Rollick is a company connecting consumers like you and me to a network of certified dealers like Alamo Cycleplex to provide the most transparent buying experience when it comes to ATVs, side-by-sides, RVs, or of course, motorcycles. Like this beautiful 2020 Honda CRF450L. That's right, baby. This is it. A lot of people waited a really long time for this motorcycle. This is the street legal CRF450. She's a little finicky. We're gonna let that warm up for a few minutes here. Alamo Cycleplex has something that I have never seen at a dealership, and that is a dirt track to test these things out on. It's pretty unbelievable, and the gentleman who owns the dealership here has told me that I can go back there. We got $10,399 price tag here. We're gonna pop this bad boy off because if I don't do it now, it will come off on its own. I'm 5'9". I have a 30-inch inseam. This is not going to go well. You already know how tall it is. You already know. You probably know more than I do. All right, let's just pretend for a moment that I'm not a shrimp. Oh, it's actually not that bad. It's a little hard to get off. Jesus H. This is so firm. This is oh dude, this has so much power too. Oh, it feels good though. I'm not going to rip it around here because that's just asking for it, but I really like that they've got this. I mean, all right, so this is a wonderful place to tell you guys, like, the suspension on this thing, it feels really, really good. I'm probably going the wrong direction. Throttle response is like crazy strong. Oh my God. This is fun. Tisk. When it's not your bike, you learn the limits a lot quicker. And the limit for me here is like, don't stack it. I don't want to go through, through the crazy mud. This is the outside line. Really not supposed to go out this way. Dude, it has so much power, and the throttle response is so hard to control. We're gonna head out of here because I just don't see this going incredibly well. Standing feels pretty good, pretty comfy. It's got off-road foot pegs, and they're very, very textured, which is wonderful for when you're off-road. It can be, a smidgen painful for when you accidentally hit your foot on there. All right, guys. We are off and racing on the Honda CRF450L. Right off the bat, it feels a lot more comfortable on dirt than it does on the road. It's not a bad road going bike, but you know, I'm on knobby tires. I've got a pretty high center of gravity. I can feel the wind manipulating the front end a little bit because it's getting underneath that fender that's nice and big, and you know, it's not a supermoto bike. This is a dirt bike. This is a CRF450 that's got a license plate, a headlight, and some turn signals on it. So it's having some issues with fueling, and I don't know if it's just because this is such a brand new bike, which I imagine it's that. But you know, I was coming to a stop there and she just cut out on me and died. That's not what you want on a motorcycle that you're kind of trusting yourself with. It sounds really good. The power is outrageous, right? You forget how much 450 in this capacity is, like in a dirt bike. 450s are terrifying. One of the first wheelie experiences, I think it was the first time I ever wheelied a bike, it was on a Yamaha WR450R. 450F, excuse me. I wish there was a 450R, that'd be really cool. It was on a Yamaha 450F, and I just started riding, and the guy who was teaching me owned it, and he said, hey, if you want to take this out for a little spin, be very careful, it's got a lot of power. And I said, oh, I've got it. I was all of 14 years old, thought I ruled the world, right? I leave, and I gassed it, and I did a wheelie for, I'd say, a solid 100 feet. Just a power wheelie, roll on, sitting too far back in the seat on a 450, weighing, you know, whatever a 14-year-old weighs. I wasn't that skinny, but I certainly wasn't a chunk monster like I am today. The seat is probably one of the firmest things I've ever sat on. It's got to be like, you know, I know that they think diamond is the hardest substance on earth. I tend to disagree. I think it's the seat on the CRF450L. I think the thing that's so cool about the CRF450L is how ridiculously capable this bike is. I mean, I was just on their little track in the back there. I wasn't doing single track. I wasn't going fast. I was just having some fun. More importantly, if I drop this there, that's just ungood for me. If I owned a bike like this, I would probably push it a lot. Well, I most certainly would push it a lot harder than that, and I wouldn't be afraid to drop it, because well, that's what you're supposed to do. These are pretty damn durable. They don't have a lot on them. The fairings are very interchangeable. You could take these Honda ones off if you wanted to, and probably buy some aftermarket ones that are nice and cheap, so that those get scuffed up and destroyed, and then when it comes time for you to want to either sell the bike or just make it look pretty, you put the old OEMers on it. It's a pretty popular thing with track bikes, and that's kind of what this is. This is the Enduro track bike, right? This is the motorcycle that I think you're buying for a very specific purpose. You're not going to get this bike as your daily driver or your commuter bike, and if that's the case, just because you don't have the funds to purchase something else, I 100% understand, and I think you're going to figure out a way to live with it. That being said, like, a motorcycle like this takes time to get used to. On a first ride review, coming off of especially two 300 and 400 cc entry-level bikes that are exceptionally easy to ride, where this takes a degree of experience that those just don't. Has a lot of power. Has a lot of power. It does really, you get used to it a bit quicker than I thought. Like, I'm already feeling more and more comfortable. But we're gonna try anyway. I mean, it's so cool. I just feel like I'm in the wrong environment. I mean, you heard the giggles and laughter when we were off-road. The only reason I left that track was because I just can't afford to have an accident or an incident. Oh, just kidding. Yeah, it soaks up the bumps. Like, even the bumps in the road, are just completely soaked up. Now you can still feel them, but it's less jarring, it's less like abrupt, it's more subtle, as if the suspension were built for something like this. Oh wait, it totally and completely was. Sounds really good, I will say that. These thumpers, the single, what are people going to be interested in from another, you know, perspective here? There's a lot of vibration, yeah, yes, indeed. It's in my feet more than almost anywhere else, which is kind of wild. I don't feel it so much in my hands or my torso or anything like that, but down in the feet, which would be really easy to fix. You got a 6-gear manual here, 1 down, 5 up. I was just cruising right there in 6th gear completely unnecessarily. If we're talking about kind of instrument cluster and infotainment system, it's a very robust infotainment. You'll see you get Netflix, Hulu. No, of course not. You get a digital speedometer, no tachometer, trip A, B, overall odometer, and a clock. You do have lights for things like neutral, gas, turn signals, engine. So you do get some information. Let's go over one of these real quick. So it feels good. It, like, you know, I would never do that on a bike that isn't like this. Yeah, guys, I don't know. It's hard to say a lot about this. Getting to ride it off-roading was great and really important, and showed me, like, hey, here's what this bike is supposed to be doing. But then taking it on the road, which is kind of the whole point of this one, right? It's the 450L. It's like, hey, look, you can ride to the trail, ride on the trail, and ride home. I'm not saying that's not possible. Back where I'm from in DC, that would basically look like this. You'd either go down 66 and then down or up 81. You know, those are highways with 70-mile-per-hour speed limits that are rather serious. And riding on them, on this bike, with no wind protection, on marble knobbies, on this seat, that's a shame. I'm a little bummed by myself. I don't like giving bad reviews, and in no way, shape, or form is this a bad review. This is just maybe a bike that I wouldn't personally choose to ride on the road again. Feels pretty good at 50. I'll tell you what, you'll definitely start looking for potholes, which is kind of funny, because on any other motorcycle you avoid them like the plague, but on this thing you would go hunt for them, right? This is the pothole eater. I'd say that this would be the perfect bike for someone who is going to be riding off-road a little bit, or I'm sorry, riding on-road a little bit, riding off-road a majority of the time. It's really like an 80-20 or 70-30 bike at best. 70% off-road, 30% on-road. This would be a flippin' insane supermoto. I think a lot of people are going to do that. I think that's going to be a really popular thing, is you buy this bike and then you buy a pair, you know, a set of supermoto wheels and tires, and that's it. And a bit more comfortable, like a seat concept seat, and then you got something really special. All right, guys, so we are back here at Alamo Cycleplex in San Antonio, Texas. Please hit them up, linked in the description down below. As always, thank you, Rollick, for sponsoring this video. Oh, the Honda CRF450L. I wanted to love this bike. In fact, I wanted to adore this bike, but there's a couple things that just don't make sense to me. For starters, you know, this is the year of me not holding back. I'm actually really pissed about the fact that it's shut off. On numerous occasions, slowing this motorcycle down, the engine would just cut off. That's so unsafe. If that's something that's specific to this bike, I'll let it slide. If in the comments, comment down below, you own one, you've ridden one, you've experienced that, I want to hear about it, because that's not okay. You know, that's something that Honda needs to address on this motorcycle. Other than that, it's a very good bike. I think that it's so ultra capable off-road that of course it sacrifices comfort and mobility on road, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too in this scenario. Now, there are motorcycles that are coming out that are, you know, comfortable both on road and off road, but there are sacrifices. Like, this is ultra lightweight. I picked it up back there and moved it off the rocks. This is, you know, it's got a ridiculous amount of suspension travel and ground clearance, and it's incredibly powerful. The torque is outrageous. It's a great enduro bike. It's very similar to a KTM EXC 500F, right? That's a bike that is going to win hands down a lot of contests, or used to rather, maybe this will now, best dual sport enduro. But I think that most of those competitions are to see which one of these bikes that's plated does the best off-roading. Well, of course, like, these would be it. It would be fascinating to see which one of these plated enduro bikes is also the most comfortable, the safest, the most user-friendly. I don't think it's the CRF450L. That being said, it's got to be one of the most capable dual sport bikes on the market today, hands flipping down. So if that's what you're looking for, this is unquestionably the motorcycle for you. If you're not sure, or if you ride 50-50 rather than 70% off-road, 30% on, then you should start looking at other things. Yes, you're going to sacrifice and get a heavier bike that doesn't have the same type of power delivery, that doesn't have the same suspension travel, quality of said suspension, ground clearance, you know, but you're going to get a motorcycle that you're actually going to like riding, and that's so important. Now, if you're looking for something and you ride off-road a lot, oh my God, buy this thing. Thank you, everyone. As always, like this video, subscribe if you are new, comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.